So good evening, everybody. The library is excited to offer this panel of dedicated community resources and advocates. I'm Kirsten Henagin, the Adult Services Manager at West Fargo Public Library. I'll be moderating today and presenting as well on behalf of the library in regard to services and programs that we offer for skill development and those seeking employment. Before we get to our panelists, I want to give just a quick introduction to what we'll be covering and a few housekeeping items. And this session will be recorded and we'll share it on our YouTube channel after we've had time to process it. So today we'll hear from representatives of each of these organizations: Job Service, the Fargo Adult Learning Center, Microsoft TechSpark, and in collaboration with a few other partners there, but we'll get to that, as well as the West Fargo Public Library. Each of these organizations provide a little bit of a different piece of the puzzle to providing services and programs to those seeking employment or looking to build job skills. And today's panel goes beyond just the COVID-19 pandemic, but we hope to build awareness around each of these different programs and services and address also how the pandemic has shifted a few of those access points to each of your organizations and answer any questions that those maybe have that are listening. So for those participating, a few housekeeping notes for the webinar. There's a few different ways that you can engage throughout the webinar. You can raise your hand, you can chat us questions, or send them in through Q&A. You will be unmuted if you have to raise your hand, and that way you can ask your own question and you don't have to feel like you just have to type it in there and try to get your point across. So we'll try to make sure that we can hear you and listen to you as the questions that you have in your job seeking journey. Do I have any thoughts on that? I think that's it. So let's meet our panelists. First, we have Jennifer. She began teaching career in 2004 at Cheney Middle School in West Fargo as an English learner teacher for grades 6 through 8. And in 2006, she began working as an EL adult education instructor at the West Fargo Adult Learning Center. In 2008, she joined the Fargo Public Schools Adult Learning Center and began leading as the GED teacher there. She was named the Adult Education Coordinator for the Fargo Adult Learning Center in the Agassiz building in 2012. Her role, she oversees the Adult Learning Center, which includes adult basic education, GED, adult English learner classes, citizenship classes, career readiness classes, and even Start Family Literacy Program for Fargo Public Schools. In 2017, Frueh was selected by the Department of Public Instruction as the Region 5 Adult Education Director, serving the adult learning centers in Fargo and Wahpeton. She's also served as the president of the North Dakota Association for Lifelong Learners. In 2016, she was selected as the YWCA Woman of the Year for Education. In 2019, Jennifer was named the Fargo Public Schools Administrator of the Year. So welcome, Jennifer.
Thank you.
In the middle here, we have Tammy. Tammy has worked for Job Service North Dakota for 27 years and is the team leader for the Job Getting Unit in the Fargo office. Before working in the Job Getting Unit, she also worked in business services as a campus rep for Job Service at Mayville State University. Tammy also served 6 years in the North Dakota Army National Guard and graduated from UND. Tammy currently serves on the North Dakota State Council of Developmental Disabilities. She also served on the board of directors for North Dakota Family Voices for many years. She's lived in Fargo for 14 years with her husband and daughter. Before that, she lived in Hillsboro and is originally from Grandin. We had a little bonding moment over all of your small town North Dakota roots here. We also have Taya. Taya is the Microsoft TechSpark manager for North Dakota. Her primary focus is to build out Microsoft Philanthropy's initiative, TechSpark, which is a civic program aimed at fostering greater economic opportunity and job creation throughout partnerships with rural and smaller metropolitan communities across the US, and to expand the great synergies between the company and community. Before her role at Microsoft, she was the resource development manager at United Way of Cass Clay, and in various roles at North Dakota State College of Science for over 7 years, including Train ND. She serves on several local and state boards, including the Grand Farm Board of Directors, the State Workforce Development Council of North Dakota, and Tech ND, to name a few. Taya grew up on a farm outside of Kindred, North Dakota, and attended the North Dakota State University and graduated with a BS in psychology and an MS in mental health counseling and currently lives in West Fargo. Proud West Fargo people here. And like I said earlier, I'll be moderating today's panel as well as representing what the library has to offer throughout your career path or job search. I'm the current West Fargo Adult Services Manager, so I'm responsible for all the library programming for those that are 18 years or older. Prior to working at the library, I joined last March. Interesting time to start a new job, but I worked in technology as well as corporate learning development arena. I am a graduate of Concordia College in Moorhead, so I'm bringing the Minnesota flavor to this panel this evening, and originally from central Minnesota. And I currently live in Moorhead, my boyfriend and my four-legged furry animal who may make an appearance throughout tonight's talk. But before we get to all of your guys' questions, we will take about 5 to 7-ish minutes for each of our panelists to share a little bit about their organizations, the services and programs that they offer, and how our attendees can connect with each of their different services. So we'll start with Jennifer, then go to Tammy, and then Taya, and I'll go last from the library perspective. All right, Jennifer, you're up.
All right, thanks for having us. Like she mentioned, we are the Adult Learning Center in Fargo. We do have a satellite site in Wahpeton. Our Fargo location is housed at the Agassiz building, which is this really centrally located along bus stops, right kind of in the heart of Fargo. And this will show you a little bit about, this is our Wahpeton site, which is housed on the NDSS campus, and then a little bit about where some of the other regions are for adult education throughout North Dakota. We are a part of the Department of Public Instruction, and then coordinated with local colleges or public school systems throughout the state. Some of the missions that we have in adult ed and our focus is language acquisition for adults, GED, which is the high school equivalency diploma, Choice Ready, helping students after building language skills or GED to become choice ready to enter college, career, military. For our students from Workforce Safety and Insurance, we provide computer literacy. And then we also do adult basic skills for our Workforce Safety and Insurance students. And really the goal of all of our programming is to help students go above and beyond after they build their skills and get ready for those next steps of employment, career, or military. We work with anybody who is 16 or older. So there's really no age limit of somebody who you can never stop learning. So there's no cap on the number of students that we can serve in adult ed. Our English language program is our largest program at the Adult Learning Center. We currently have over 450 students enrolled with us. We offer classes to work around adult learner schedules. So morning, afternoon, and evening. Our times actually we're able to expand a little bit as we've opened up schools a little bit more. So that's a nice thing that has changed from these slides since we submitted them, but really flexible hours, morning, afternoon, and evening for students. Right now, to enroll, class registration is by appointment only. And so students need to come for an English learner assessment to gauge which class would be appropriate for them. And then we can fit them into classes by appointment and time so that we can allow for social distancing at this point. The GED diploma is available for students who are 16 and older who are not currently enrolled in high school and who have not graduated with a high school diploma. And again, like with our EL classes, we have morning, afternoon, and evening sessions so that students can really work around jobs, childcare, transportation needs. We really try to offer a flexible time for students. The orientations that happen for GED are on Tuesdays, and we have a morning, afternoon, and evening session, again, designed around what works best for students. Those also are by appointment only so that we can allow for social distancing. A lot of these pictures were pre-COVID, so it is not what the classrooms look like currently. There is much more space between folks, but we are excited to have a few more students back in class, and hopefully eventually we'll someday have really full classes again. All right, a little bit more about our GED program. So as people are working towards that high school diploma, the minimum score to pass is 400 or 145, sorry. And then it has a few other breakdowns for scores. 165 is our college ready, and then 175 is college ready plus credit. And that is something that is gaining traction nationwide, where students can actually get credit for some of the high scores that they get on the GED. There are 4 components to the GED test: language arts, which it builds on reading and writing skills; science, social studies, and math. We've had over over the years, we've had a large number of graduates. Last year was a little small. It was harder for students to do distance learning. Once we hit into March, we had probably about 40 students waiting to take some tests, and some of that was shut down for quite some time. But as you can see, there's between 60 and 93 graduates the last couple of years. So those are really a lot of people that are preparing for the next step. After graduation, we help them look at college options, like I said, military, or the next step for employment. And just a few more stats, as people are wondering how well do folks do as they come into the program, and what are the odds of them doing really well. We have about a 90% pass rate as we look at different quarters in different years. And so there are really some good odds. We always talk about the hardest step for somebody is coming into the building and up to second floor to the classroom. Once we can get students there, there are really good odds. And so we always encourage students to invest in themselves by taking that first brave step and getting into class. You can see on the average score, I like to compare that to what's needed to pass. As students work through our program with our instructors who are super dedicated to helping them advance, you can see that our students are performing on average well above where they need to be for that minimum requirement. So we are excited about that average score as well. I mentioned a little bit about the next steps and how do we help folks prepare. And so with our college and career readiness strands, we've got a couple of different classes. The Intro to CNA class is really a building block for students, primarily our EL learners, but not always. Our students in GD have also taken this class, and it's really a good building block. They will take this class. When you think of an English learner, it really takes a number of years to become academically fluent in a language. And so this class really supports those learners in building the language of becoming a CNA. And so we talk about all of those technical terms so that they can be ready to go into a faster paced course down the road that leads to licensure. And so in addition to the language parts, we talk about study skills and help work through test taking strategies. And then we also do some basic clinical skills, measuring input and output, blood pressure, temperature taking, so that when that student walks into an official CNA training class, they really have that background knowledge already starting for them to make it easier and help them be more successful. Our driver's literacy class helps students to build that self-sufficiency. This class is designed around helping individuals in our EL program prepare for the North Dakota or Minnesota we worked with, but primarily the North Dakota permit test. And so we help them work through, again, study skills, the specific language skills that they need to be able to read and to use the computer to pass that test. And then with our computer literacy class, that is primarily for our workforce safety and insurance students who have been injured on the job and then are referred to us for skills upgrading. So we have a computer class designed to help them really spend some time digging in and learning those skills that they need so that they can go back to college if it's been a while. They can enter college for the first time or enter a different career field. We've got a number of different citizenship class options as well. We have citizenship classes on Thursdays that are open to any of our EL students. And then we also have an elder citizenship for those refugees, former refugees or immigrants that are 60 years and older, to be able to take the class at a little slower pace. The citizenship exam also is a little different for that age group. So we study those specific questions and go over those pieces as well. And pre-COVID, as you can see, we also had some partnerships that allowed for some senior activities for that group, and some senior dining on site. Some of those things have obviously changed with COVID. And again, class sizes are not that full anymore, as you see in that first picture, but we really look forward to the day that we can be like that again. Our Even Start Family Literacy Program is a unique program. It provides education for children 6 weeks to school age, so about 5, while their parents are attending adult education. So it's similar to what you would see if you looked into the classroom at Head Start or some infant toddler classrooms or preschool classrooms around the community. A lot of that learning would be very similar, and the classrooms look really almost identical to what you see there. The difference is these kids aren't dropped off at our school at Agassiz and their parents go somewhere else. When they come to the classrooms at Agassiz, their parents go to their adult education classrooms, primarily EL, but also GD. We have got an infant and toddler classroom, a preschool classroom. We have a family classroom that serves whole families when students are attending Woodrow Wilson High School, which is also housed in Agassiz. And then throughout the week that our families are there, they attend parent education classes. And this isn't a required parent education class because they've done something wrong or negative. These parenting classes are things where they can just share and talk about best practices and sleep routines and screen time and those questions that all parents have. And this really becomes a network of support as they navigate a lot of new situations. We just have that community set right there. We do some family literacy activities for both kids and parents together. And pre-COVID, we were doing home visits. Now those have turned into some Zoom sessions during this COVID time. But that gives us a chance to really specify what each kiddo needs.
Awesome. Thank you, Jennifer. I think that's all I have for your update for right now. We'll come back and we'll ask a few questions specifically for the Adult Learning Center. Tammy, I'll let you talk a bit about job service. Oop, you're muted.
There we go. All right.
There you go.
I'm Tammy with Job Service, and we have quite a few services under our roof. I'm just going to go over each of them, scan them, but then, later on when there's time for questions, of course, people can ask questions. So when you come into our office, you're going to see our resource area, and things have changed a lot. If you've been in our office before, we've done a little remodel, and now with COVID, our doors are locked and we're by appointment only. So if people want to come to our office for job searching, they can call our office 239-7300 to make an appointment. Our appointments are an hour and a half, and we give ourselves time in between the appointment time so that we can clean the workstations and ensure your safety along with the space safety. And masks are required in our office now. For our appointments, we ask that, we'll ask you some questions. Let's say you call to make an appointment. We're going to ask you some screening questions. What is it that you would like us to help you with in our office? And so that we can make sure you get the most out of your time, because that hour and a half can go very quickly. Job searching, our website is jobsnd.com. And so you can access a lot of our resources through our website, but also, of course, you can use our computers to access our website. And if you have questions, we're there to help you. Within our office, we have, like I mentioned, the resource area, but we also have the skills development area. And they oversee the WIOA program, which is the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act program. So if you're interested in training, you can have a conversation with one of the people that works in that unit to learn about some of the training opportunities. They want to assist in developing a career goal. If you don't have one, they can help you with that. They can help you assess your skills, your interests and abilities, and try and find a career track that is a good fit for you. Once you do that, if you discover that training is required, then you would meet about some of the training opportunities that we have. The training is funded through the WIOA program. It's not a loan, it's a grant. and it's federally funded. And some of the popular trainings that we help with are more short-term trainings. They have to be in demand so that when you complete the training, finding a job, you'll be looking in an area that is an in-demand industry. So some of the popular ones are CNA, CDL, welding are some of the more in-demand trainings that we're seeing right now. And we work with schools in the area, and we are a North Dakota agency, but we do partner with some Minnesota border schools. So keep that in mind as well. And we also have veterans representatives in our office. So if you're a military service member, we want to honor that, and you do have priority of service. And so we do have 3 veterans representatives in our office that will work with you one-on-one and offer services that are a little more individualized. And they have connections with employers and different training programs that are geared toward veterans. So that's a really nice program. And we also have business service representatives in our office that work more closely with the business community so that we can work together, visiting with the employers in the area, and then also, you know, helping our job seekers so we can put the two together and get those positions filled and get your training needs met at the same time. We also have some contracted programs in our office. We have the Jobs Program, Pride, and BEST, which are all contracted with the Department of Human Services. And those are all ones that you'd be referred to through, in our area, Cass County Social Services. Now, job service in general, of course, we're a state agency, so there are offices across the state, and all offices have these programs. So if you are watching this, but you're not in the Fargo area, reach out to your nearest job service office. Some of the things that we can help with in our office for the job seeking side are job openings. We do get many employers that reach out to us on a regular basis, and we do post their openings on our website. Employers can also list their own openings on our website. So we have, you know, thousands of openings on our site. We also have a resume builder on our website. So you can go through the resume builder, and that resume will always be there. It goes inactive after 90 days, but you can always go in there and access that resume and update it. And then you would be able to, through our website, email it to employers or to yourself so that you have it in your email all the time. You can also import it into a Word document. And so there's lots of nice features on our website. And we also have a Facebook page. And so if you are on Facebook, look for Job Service ND Fargo. We post openings on our Facebook page every day. And so they're newer openings. And they're all, you can get all the details about those openings on our website, which is jobsnd.com. And we also have Twitter. And so we have lots of different social media outlets for you to keep updated on. I did mention some of the COVID precautions that we have in place that you do need to call to make an appointment. Because we try to keep a 6-foot radius with between everybody, we typically have 17 computers in our resource area. But because of COVID and spacing concerns, we now have 10. And that's for everybody's safety. And also staff, we're more than happy to help, but we do need to keep a distance. So we aren't able to sit right with you and input information for you, but we can sure help you out. We have pointers like you see with cat toys. That's what we use. We help people from afar to maneuver through the computer and online applications. And we can help with some of the basics of unemployment insurance, but that is all centralized. But within our office, we can help you get through that process. And our workstations are cleaned before and after appointments. So we try and keep everything as clean as possible. And our doors are locked. And not only when you come into our office, but we've added doors on the sides. And so one of the things based on feedback that we've heard from our customers is that sometimes they feel like there's too many people, they feel a little rushed. If somebody gets upset, they get a little nervous or concerned. And so now we have total control over our customer flow in our office. And so you have to be buzzed to enter our resource area or any other office in our building, which has been a really nice improvement. We also have some great handouts that are available for people when they're in our office. I'm going to kind of show you, I didn't provide a slide of it, but it's your guide to employment, which covers the absolute beginning of job searching to negotiating a job offer. So there's lots of great resources in there. And then also just some of our other tools about maneuvering our website. And one that I like is talking about your skills. It's a worksheet that helps you, reflect on your skills, your previous work experience, and put that into a format so that you see where your skill levels are and maybe where you need to build them. I'm just trying to think if there's something that I forgot about. So as far as some of our other services with WIOA and our other programs, due to COVID, the meetings have either been by phone or through video meetings. And so, you know, we want to make sure and connect our services with our customers as much as we can. So if you reach out to us and let us know what it is that you're interested in, we're going to put you on the right path and get you connected with our great staff to make sure that we meet your employment needs.
Awesome. Thank you, Tammy. I feel you guys offer a lot of different things, and I feel like we just scratched the surface. Well, hopefully we can dig in a little bit more with our questions. All right, Taya, I'll have you go next.
And I might have you skip over some of these. So
That's okay.
I'll just tell you. Hey, everybody. My name is Taya Spelhaug. I am the TechSpark manager for Microsoft. And you're probably wondering, why is Microsoft part of this panel? But we'll get to that in a second. So if you want to go to the next slide. Talked about TechSpark a little bit. It's an economic development program within Microsoft Philanthropies. We're in 6 locations around the United States. And one of those locations is actually Fargo, North Dakota. So next slide. So one of the major things that we work in with TechSpark is workforce development. We know that jobs and technology, or jobs are being affected by technology, especially the technology that Microsoft produces. And so we want to help support jobs and job seekers who may have been displaced because of technology advances. And so we've had a lot of workforce development programs in the past, and when COVID hit, we knew that we had to double down on our efforts. And so in June, we launched a program called the Skilling Initiative within Microsoft to help 25 million people worldwide acquire new digital skills. And I can kind of actually announce this, that we actually have hit 25 million people. And it's been really awesome to see that, you know, people in our local area have been a part of that 25 million. So next slide, please. So a little bit about this initiative. What we wanted to do is we wanted to make sure that we were focusing in on the job seeker and knowing that the job seeker is going to be at home using the internet. We wanted to make sure that we found jobs and identified jobs that could be learn skills online, could be interviewed online, and could actually be worked online. And so we found and identified those 10 jobs, and I'll explain a little bit. And then we wanted to make sure that we had the skills to go along with that. So we utilized LinkedIn in order to help get those skills to the people who needed those skills. We also use LinkedIn to showcase those skills. So once somebody goes through our LinkedIn learning platform, they receive a badge that says they took a course, and that actually showed up into their LinkedIn. Also, LinkedIn is a great place to have your resume and have everything to be able to, I mean, you can do everything through LinkedIn. You can have your resume, you can search for jobs, you can apply for jobs, you can actually interview jobs all the way through LinkedIn. And then we wanted to help add support and guidance. So that's really what we wanted to focus on with our initiative. Next slide. So how we're doing that is we are utilizing the resources that we already have through Microsoft. So Microsoft actually owns LinkedIn, and LinkedIn has what's called LinkedIn Learning. So it's a learning platform that has thousands of online courses that are usually done in video form. So somebody could just watch these videos and take some tests and earn some badges. GitHub is also something that we own, where we could have developers and computer programmers actually testing their skills, because you can learn how to be a programmer, but until you are able to showcase that you actually know these skills, it's hard to get hired. We have Microsoft Learn and Microsoft certifications. So those are on our products. So people can get educated on our Azure products, on different products that we have, and then actually take certifications. All right, next. So this slide is a lot. There's a lot on here. So I'll kind of just go over really briefly. Up at the top are 10 job paths. I'll explain, I'll show you another slide that has them a little bit bigger. But these are the jobs that we identified. They're jobs that have showed steady job growth over the last 4 years. They're in demand. So a lot of jobs are open in these positions around the world. And so it's if people are going to get skilled, there's jobs to be had in these areas, and then also livable wages. So not only are you going to get a great job, but also have a great wage when you are network administrator or a project manager or a data analysis, graphic designer, all of those different things. So what we did is we set up job role paths. And so we set up through LinkedIn, and we have a website that I'll show in a little bit that actually takes learners to the job path. And so what they can do is say, I want to learn more about project management. They will click on that job path, and there's about 7 hours of, I wish I could spend more time to show exactly what all this is, but I'll put links in there that anybody can go and look at this, but you actually go through the job paths. And it's about, like I said, 7 hours or 8 hours of learning for some of these job paths. Some of them take a little bit longer when they're a little bit more stringent, like data analysis. But you can go through those, and all of that is for free. And so in the red, you see that it says that the job goes through end of March. Well, we've actually extended that to the end of the year. Thanks, Kirsten. And so we're really excited to be able to offer those job paths and the learnings through LinkedIn for free all the way through the end of the year. So anybody can go on there at any point, at any time, and I'll show you where to go to get there. But that's one of the offerings. Other offerings that we have include some soft skills. So we have some in-demand soft skills. We also have some great learnings on diversity and inclusion. I've actually taken that, and it was really amazing. I've had other businesses that have launched that digital inclusion module for their own professionals. So it was just really interesting to allow that for free in other areas. And then the final one is that we're extending the Microsoft certifications for $15 through the end of the year. And so what that is, a lot of times Microsoft certifications, to take that test in Azure, data analysis, development associate, security administration, some of those, it's about $150 per test. And so we are allowing that for one time at $15, that somebody can use Microsoft Learn, gain the skills that they need, and then be able to take the Microsoft certifications. So it's a great opportunity for people to up their skills in some of these areas and be able to be marketable and gain jobs in those areas. So I know that was really quick and a lot of information on that slide, but next slide. So opportunity.linkedin.com. That is where somebody would go. Anybody can go on there at any time. You're going to see the 10 job paths on there. You're also going to see an information on how to get to the diversity and inclusion. You're going to also find ways and other paths on just basic soft skills as well. So that is where you're going to want to go in order to access any of these learnings in those 10 paths. So next slide. Here are the 10 job roles. As you can see on the left side, those are all the job roles. And there's different levels that people can take in order to kind of build on their skills. So if somebody is a new learner to digital skills, maybe they've used the internet a little bit, but that's about it. There's basic digital skills that we have offerings for free. Foundational skills, those are going to be the skills that you need that, support being an online employee. What is it like to be using Zoom? How do you present like this on Zoom? And how do you have meetings, those types of things. So it's a really good opportunity to just up your basic skills. And then the role-based skills. So these are going to be different for each of these 10 learning paths. Obviously, graphic designer going to have way different skills on a project manager. And then you can see on the 3 on the bottom, we get into technical skills because those are a little bit higher level. And so that's where you're going to go onto Microsoft Learn and learn those technical skills. All right, next slide. Okay, so what are we doing here locally? So as part of TechSpark, what we wanted to do is we wanted to make sure that we could actually get people trained in Fargo, North Dakota, or actually North Dakota, Minnesota. This is kind of open to everybody. And so we actually worked with, if you want to go to the next slide, at North Dakota State College of Science. I actually used to work with them. I worked for them in their Train and D area. And we created Upskilling North Dakota. So what this does is it creates cohorts of people to go through some of this learning paths together. And what's great is that we know that if people are doing learnings together, they're going to feel more accountable, they're going to feel more supported, and they're going to likely be more successful. Anybody can go on opportunity.linkedin.com and get that information, but this is really going to help people to feel supported and actually become successful. So next slide. So participants are matched with volunteers, which is awesome. We have mentorships, and so a lot of our volunteers mentor maybe 2 or 3 participants in the class. They don't have a lot of mentees, and so they're able to offer really good coaching and support during this time. A lot of things that our mentors have been working on are, how do you set up a LinkedIn account? How do you go and maybe search for a job? Maybe somebody wants to just do a mock interview. That is some things that our coaches have done. And also some of our coaches have actually helped their mentees find jobs within the community, because a lot of our coaches are really connected into the community. So next slide. So right now, as you saw before, the deadline for our free LinkedIn learning services was going to be the end of March. And so when we started this, we only put together four different cohorts. We're currently into, we're going to be doing cohort 4. We just, actually, we're in the middle of cohort 3, excuse me, and we're going to be graduating that, I think at the end of next week. And then starting our cohort 4 in February. And what's been so amazing with these cohorts is we've had people from all over North Dakota, small town North Dakota, that saw this over Facebook and decided to sign up, and to hear their story at the beginning and It's been really cool. We've actually had Doug Burgum, our governor. We've had Senator Hoeven. We had Representative Armstrong actually give kind of the keynote at our graduate or at our kickoffs to really explain how important this is and how great this is for the citizens of North Dakota to be a part of this. And to hear the students talk about how they just want to up their skills, or maybe they were laid off during COVID, or maybe they were in the restaurant industry and they just wanted to find something different. And then 3 weeks later, have them talk about how the skills that they gained were just part of it. They gained confidence, they gained an understanding, they gained some friendships out of this cohort. So it was just really an awesome way to hear in such a small time how impactful this program really is to local people in North Dakota. All right, next slide. So these are a few of the things that we have within the cohort. So we have kickoffs, and then we have, usually scheduled. So at the kickoff, they find out who their mentors are. Then the mentors go in and schedule a regular cadence on whatever works with each other. So it's really a schedule that's specific to the chosen pathway and to that student. So we're not stringent on that. We want to make sure that this fits within their schedule. Regular check-ins with the coaches, again, on their own time to provide feedback and support. And really it's tailor-made to what that student needs. And then we have what's called hotspot learnings. Other places call them, lunch and learns, but we call them hotspots because it doesn't always happen over lunch. And so it's just topics and experts that really dig into some of these professional skills. I know one of the first ones is how to set up a LinkedIn account, because if you're going to be in this program, you got to be on LinkedIn. It's free, which is nice. And a lot of people, there wasn't one student that said that they didn't want to be a part of it. They were really excited to get on LinkedIn. They had heard about it, but to actually have their own LinkedIn account was really great. And it was fun because I've actually had a lot of students that have added me as one of their connections. And it's been really fun to connect with some of those students through LinkedIn. And then we have interview loops. So working with employers around North Dakota to get them involved into these cohorts. And so it's we can have our participants understand and better connect with the employers that are hiring in North Dakota. So I know that was really kind of super fast and furious, but I didn't want to take up too much time, and happy to answer any questions on this as well. So thanks, Kirsten.
Not a problem. Thanks for sharing, Taya. I've put some questions queued up for you for later. So like I said earlier, I'm representing the library and part of this panel. And so thank you for just diving into each of your different services and organizations. There's a lot of community resources here just in our backyards that I think sometimes we're in our own bubble and we don't go beyond our bubble to know all the things that are available to us. So before we jump to the Q&A part of tonight's session, just want to share a few of these services and programs and resources that we have at the library. If you haven't visited us before, we are located at the Ladone Community Center in Northwest Fargo. It's not far from the McDonald's. It's like close to Cheyenne and Maine, way up there. It's also the same location as the community high school in West Fargo as well. We do have a map bus stop not far from our library as well. So if you're looking for transportation, you can get there by the bus. We officially have reopened with some modified hours at this time. I'm very excited about it, to be moving away from appointments only and getting able to see more patrons in our doors in a safe way. So we are open from 10 to 7 Monday through Thursday, and then Friday from 10 to 6. And then Saturdays 10 to 5. We're closed currently on Sunday in order for us to just get caught up with the things that are going on and making sure that we're getting everybody's books checked back out to them and all those good things. But you're able to visit us. You can browse for books, browse for items, use our computers. We do have printing and free Wi-Fi, and I'll talk a little bit more about those resources in a few minutes. But you can also contact us in a few different ways. If in person is not ideal for you at this time, you can give us a call during our open hours, as well as email us at askus@westfargond.gov. And for those that you may not have a library card yet, you can also do that online on our website or just stop by our service desk in person. If you just have questions or anything like that, you can always just call us and we can help guide you to the right resources, whether that's to a community resource or working through issues that you may be facing from home as well. As for our programs and services, we often help patrons with an array of questions in their employment search, whether that's to assist with skill development or helping somebody just work through a resume at the service desk, or if they call or email us or through one of our programs. So there's a lot of different points in what somebody looking for a job or looking to upskill that the library sort of comes into play. When you are in our building or in our parking lot, we offer free Wi-Fi access. So if you have a computer and you just want to sit in your car and type away, it's a little cold, you might just have your car running that whole time, but we do have Wi-Fi that extends into our parking lot, which was pretty helpful after we'd closed for the first time in March. A lot of people that use us for Wi-Fi, we couldn't really reach them any longer, but now with this addition, we're able to reach more people and provide Wi-Fi in a more easy way. We also have public computers that are able to utilize in the library. We do have a reduced number of computers available at this time, just to maintain some social distancing and allow us to sanitize in between people using them. But you can also utilize our in-library printing, scanning, copying. There are some fees associated with printing, but scanning and copying is free for you to use. We also have technology that you can check out to use, whether that's in the library or then checking it out of the library. You do need to have a West Fargo Public Library card for that and have a membership with us for 3 months before we're able to check those out. But we have laptops in library use, so you can use those for 90 minutes, do whatever you need to do, take your computer and go wherever in the library to work on what you need to. As well as iPads and hotspots that you can check out of the library. So if you don't have Wi-Fi at home and you want to use a hotspot, you can use that for 3 weeks for Wi-Fi in your home. Some of the tools and things that you have access to that may help you search for a job or build job skills. We have a few different things that also dive into some career paths as well. Tools like Digital Learn and GCF Learn Free cover an array of topics from the basics of computers, like Taya was talking about, to career planning, resume writing, cover letters, and job searching, interview skills, all of those different things. And both of those resources are on our website, and I can share those after today's webinar as well. But those are free to access. You don't need a card or anything. They're just available for you. They are a bit more introductory in nature. So if you're new to computers or you're looking to build some of those skills, those are an option. We also have access to the Occupational Outlook Handbook. So if you're just sort of thinking about, like, I don't know what I want to do, I'm not really sure where to start, but it allows to explore a little bit and take a look at pay, long-term outlook, education needed, and all of that's from the US Bureau of Labor Statistics. You also can access the NDDOT site, which gives you access to all the practice tests. If you're looking to get a CDL or other commercial licenses, you can do all of those practice tests for free and get some practices for the real test. The last resource I want to talk about here is it's Turk, the Testing and Education Reference Center, which is actually going through a marketing name change at this moment in time. So I listed both because it hasn't quite changed on our website yet, but it will be changing. But it's the Gail Peterson's Test Prep, and this is the only one that you'll need a library card to access. But it has more robust tools when it comes to those that are looking for actual test prep, whether that's college entrance exams. There are some accounting exams in there that are more maybe industry specific, but there's also a ton of topics around technology, building some of those soft skills, communication, working in a modern workplace, as well as job searching, preparation of whether that's a resume, a cover letter, as well as those interview skills. But all of these online resources are accessible under the research tab on westfargolibrary.org. So you can take a look at those and dive into them, see what you like, see what you don't like, and find what you're looking for wherever you are in your job search. We currently are not offering in-person programs. In the past, we have offered some technology programs and things like that. But we are planning a series of job skills virtual sessions. So I'll be sending a survey after today's webinar that I'd love all of your feedback on things that you like covered, things that would be most beneficial to you wherever you are and as you're seeking for employment or upskilling in your journey there. That's all I have to share about the library. So we can jump right into some discussion and Q&A. You guys that are listening can feel free to submit them through the chat or through the Q&A part of the webinar. This is really good time for you guys. If you have specific questions, we're here to answer them and hopefully point you in the right direction. But if you're quiet, I also have some questions in my back pocket so that we can definitely tackle. I'll let them, while they're thinking about their question. Taya, I have a question for you right off the bat. I don't remember if you said this when you were talking about the cohort program, but is that free if I want to do it? Or do I just sign up?
Sorry about that. Yes, everything's free. So anybody can sign up at any time. If you go, I just put the in the chat. If you click on the chat, there's a link in there that has ndscs.edu/upskilling-nd. You can go on there and sign up and get involved. The deadline again for the next cohort is February 1st. So that is going to be sneaking up on us pretty quickly, but yes, everything's free.
Awesome. A quick timeline turnaround. Yeah, those aren't always fun, but hopefully if you guys are interested, we can get into that.
It's a quick application, so
yeah, good. A question for really all of you to take in a different direction. What has changed for each of your different organizations in the last, 8 to 10 months, and how you're serving the community? And what really, for those that are listening, maybe haven't visited you in the past, what's the best way to access each of you?
Sure, I can jump in first. With the Adult Learning Center, so much has changed since March of 2020. We used to offer some distance learning for some of our GED students, but it was pretty minimal. Across the board, most of our students came on site, and as you saw in those pictures, we had a lot on site throughout the week. Since March, we adapted pretty quickly to figure out how to offer our educational services in our virtual platform. And so while we are now face-to-face some, we still have kept this component of distance learning in a pretty robust way that we didn't have before. You would hear it talked about as hybrid learning, kind of a mix of both. And so we have both on-site classes, and then while they're not in the same length as the classes that are on site, we are offering virtual learning options. And so our Friday mornings are designated as some of our distance learning times. And so students in EL or in our GED programs can log into Zoom and do some face-to-face portions of classes with their instructor. We also have a large Zoom cart that we were able to purchase through a grant so that we can offer some of our classes synchronously. So there is both in-person students and virtual learners on the other end. And so that allows us to do a decent job with sound quality and large video options. So our citizenship classes are moving that way, our intro to CNA class, and then our staff are working that way to do some of their English classes as well. And then we have some independent online learning that our instructors can track students. So there's a couple of different programs that we use in EL and GED, and those teachers can then provide feedback right within those applications of, here's where you're struggling on this, try to work it out this way. Or here's another video about this type of problem, and giving them a chance to work through that. So, and even with our littlest learners in Even Start, we're doing a lot of Zoom. When you're working with 6 weeks to school age, that's not just this sit and get kind of worksheet age group. So we are sending home learning kits for our virtual learners. And then, like I said, we're doing Zoom and doing some things through Seesaw. So it looks so much different than it did last year at this time, but we're excited and really looking at those options that we can keep moving forward that really we've learned along the way that really make a difference for our students.
Awesome. How about you, Tammy?
A lot has changed for us as well. We used to have employers in line to come into our office and recruit to do recruiting for their openings. And of course, now that has changed. And we still have bulletin boards where we post, urgent positions where, the employer wants to hire people as soon as possible. Well, now that we have our doors locked, we still post those, but we've gone to online postings more now than, in our office on the bulletin boards. We also had many classes within our office for job skill building and basic computer classes that we had to put on hold as well. And we don't have a timeline of when that'll go back. I don't know. We do know that we have a scheduled job fair. We used to do a lot of job fairs out in the community, and we've had to reschedule our big spring and fall ones for obvious reasons. But we do have one scheduled for October, so stay tuned for that, where we'll have at the Delta. That's usually where we had our big job fairs and multi-industry job fairs. And so we're excited about that. That's some sense of normalcy that we're looking forward to. And the day when we can have employers back into our office to do some recruiting as well. We have tried some virtual job fairs to compensate a little bit for the not having the in-person job fairs. They haven't caught on as much as we would like, but we're not giving up. We're going to still try to make those connections. Meeting with our customers and our clients within the programs, doing a lot of reflecting on what works best for our customers. And so we've decided that there's not just one right or wrong way, that we have to tailor it to where that client is at and what their needs are. We used to have employer workshops in our office, and now we are just trying to provide that information as needed. Labor market information is a feature I forgot to mention earlier. We have a lot of labor market information listed on our website. So you as a job seeker, if you're wondering what certain career fields pay and what the demand is, we do have some great publications and search tools on our labor market side too. I think that's about it.
Only a small list. Those are all really great resources. We have just a few minutes left, so I'll just give each of you an opportunity to share one piece of advice you'd have for our audience that may be experiencing employment challenges or looking to continue their learning. What would that advice be? Taya, if you want to go first.
I would just say utilize the resources. I think even, jumping on this call, I think is great. What Tammy and Jennifer have is unbelievable. NDSCS, their support is fantastic. And I think once you just take the leap to start looking at what's out there and start talking to people, that's one thing that's great about North Dakota is we're so connected. And so just, a lot of people say it's not what you know, it's who you know. And so when you're talking to Tammy and you're talking to Jennifer and you're talking to NDSCS and all these groups of people, they really can help support you in ways that you never knew that you could be supported before. So just taking the leap and actually getting out there and having conversations, COVID safe would be perfect.
And I would say that job specific, as far as job searching goes, the days of having one resume are over. And so when you're applying for positions, really tailoring your approach individually for each position. We've seen time and time again that when we do get the opportunity to coach people, it's really exciting when we can help them individualize those resumes and cover letters, and how all of a sudden we hear how 50 resumes being sent out versus 5 resumes, thoughtful resumes being sent out, lead to more interviews and offers.
And I would guess our advice, I hear teachers saying it all the time to our students, is to really just be brave and take that first step. That truly is often the hardest, but we encourage, even when you think you are not very brave, to just really take that first step. And then let us help you with those next few steps and get you ready to kind of soar and fly on your own journey. The other important part is to never give up on yourself, and to just really take that time to invest in you and your learning, with us or with any of these programs, learning or finding that job, but really take that time to invest and not quit on yourself.
Awesome. Thank you so much, each of you, for sharing your time this evening, and thank you all of those that attended. I am excited to hopefully see some of your faces at the West Fargo Public Library. Again, I'll just give a shout out to my survey. If you have thoughts, ideas for programs, things that you really would need or are looking for from the library, I'm happy to sort of tailor it and hit those big heavy hitters for the audience as well. So thank you for taking your time out of your evening. I hope you have a wonderful week, and we will call it a wrap there, everybody.
Thank you for inviting us.
My pleasure. Have a great evening.
Have a great evening.
Bye.